technological like apps on that notice that this is a growing group. So they actually, I think, tweak some things to like service back to this group of people.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're creating, okay, so I understand. They're profitable. They have a platform. They're commissioning content.
Mm-hmm.
And how big is this thing?
Oh man, I don't really have numbers per se.
It's big though. People know. I mean, if you talk about it in China, even though it started as a sort of more of a fringe thing.
Yes, it definitely started more of as a fringe thing, but I guess bigger in the sense that you can see people not only like people dressing up in this way on the street, and okay, for instance, like more and more people wear it as like a normal wear instead of just to like a anime conference or something.
Yeah.
But also I think increasingly in popular media, in their like television shows, there will be more representation of such styles.
Yeah.
And also like a lot of dramas and all that, they're inspired by these styles start surfacing and gaining a lot of popularity. Yeah, so I mean, dramas with real people and celebrities are obviously like a much bigger reach, like REACH. Yeah. So,
but that's the sort of the ripple effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of any sort of trend or technology. Let's talk about podcast and dating.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because obviously we were podcasting, and I always find, I mean, dating is one of those things, isn't it? I mean, okay, obviously, the key here is about bringing people together, connecting.
Yeah.
And like if you think about, go back to Pocket Bell, or if you listen to like the last Asia Tech podcast, I talked about Dengon Dial, which is basically like using old-fashioned message boxes for dating, which is what Japanese high school girls did again. And it's like, you give some technology to young people and they find a way to kind of connect with each other, and a lot of that is dating.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not necessarily serious. It's just kind of like you're finding the world, learning about people, learning about friends and so on. What's going on in China at the moment in the podcast space?
Yes. So podcast apps in China are actually, I would say, much more advanced than a lot of the English ones that we have and use, in the sense that they don't really limit to just podcasts or audiobooks, but more of audio content or audio files, and that can be in the form of like live broadcast sessions. So there are this like karaoke rooms where if you go into the app, you can join the room, and then you can join like 10 other people singing karaoke, that strangers, and you can just join in. And so the dating part is actually
I like that one. I mean,
karaoke?
Before we get karaoke, let's talk about karaoke boxes. Have you been in like a real karaoke box offline in Japan?
Yeah, of course.
That's like a thing, right?
It is, and it's still a thing.
Yeah, it's still a thing, and it's definitely, it's a good night out. And I've done those and found myself like at 4 a.m. Like they started with a group of 20 people and now there's 4. How do we get home? Because I know like all Japanese, they all go together and leave together.
Yeah.
But like, foreigners, they kind of come and go.
Yep.
So you have these very sort of wild karaoke night sessions. But good times. But I love that idea of you can just go somewhere and just hang out with people, and it doesn't have to be in a pub.
Exactly.
And it's a good sort of like, I think especially for, the context of Japanese is there aren't a lot of places to connect. There's bars, there's restaurants, but like if you just want as a group to go somewhere, there isn't a lot. You can't there's no sort of public space.
Right. That's why they go
7-Eleven outside, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the karaoke box is a great idea. And I feel like when you go to a karaoke box in any other country, sort of, especially in Europe or America, it doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is, because there's alternatives, right?
Yeah, you're right. I think it's because Japanese people are not as willing to open up and talk to strangers. Maybe besides like izakaya kind of place.
Yeah.
So
that's only if you are a foreigner as well, right?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. Just karaoke itself. It's a great observation, cultural observation. Karaoke. Why is it so popular? Why did it come from Japan? It's because of the karaoke effect, right? Which is like, do you have that kind of pressure that you can't be yourself, express yourself?
Yep. But then at a karaoke.
Here's a mic.
Yep.
Now you are Elvis Presley, whoever you want to be.
And it's like entertainment for other people that are there. That's like really important.
Yeah.
That aspect of it. Yeah.
But I like that idea of now their karaoke box app, right?
Yes, and that's the crazy thing. It's not like I mean, there are actually apps like that. That's just for like seeing and all that. But this is within a podcast app. So in a sense, like everything revolves around sound.
Right.
Everything is audio and sound.
So this would be like, for example, in like Stitcher or Castbox or an equivalent of that, or even Spotify,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's more like Spotify, but with all these other options, which is, I mean, I think what's missing from, let's say, like Spotify or like Podbean or these podcast places is that there isn't really a place for people to come together as a community.
It's completely missing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Spotify had that feature, like, you know, you could follow what your friends are doing. I hate it. It's so rubbish. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like,
I really don't care what they're doing. It's like, I don't want to like look at their playlists or whatever.
Yeah. That's not like a real kind of you're not really talking to them. You're just like passively receiving what they're putting out there. Oh my god, you're right.
It is just like, I mean, but that's the point. And I think there's a bigger conversation there. Before we dive into these apps, there's a bigger conversation there. You can see the pattern. Very much Western apps are mission focused. Let's be